into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Kaufmann. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to season 6, episode 21, Modern Family. This is, crying out loud, this is the after show here at AfterBuzzTV.com. I was a little frazzled because we were in a quick scramble to get some music up. What is this song, Steven?
I like it.
It's the Once Upon a Time theme.
It's the Once Upon a Time theme, another ABC show.
Yeah!
That's not too far off.
Not
too far off. If you're listening to my voice on iTunes or on the SoundCloud, please share, like, subscribe, rate us, all the things you need us to do. On top of that, if you're watching me on YouTube, I'm going to be stalking the chat a little, see what you have to say. If you want to speak to us on Twitter at any time, it's hashtag ABTV Modern Family. I'm at Steve Kaufmann, that's Kaufmann, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely panel.
Hi everyone, I'm Britta Garsow, and you can find me on Twitter at Britta_Garsow.
Hey guys, I'm Carli Carsow, and you can find me on Twitter at Carli_Garsow.
And we're missing Nick this week, but it's his birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, so happy birthday, Nick!
Happy birthday, Nick!
We miss ya.
I feel like singing would be a lot of air.
I know, I thought we were going to get a song.
Whoa.
Yeah, birthday theme song.
You're 23. This is what it's going to look like.
I don't know what we think of Nick. That's the birthday theme song. This episode's actually a lot of what people think of you. What your family thinks of you, mostly.
Yeah, it actually almost made me cry. It was so sweet.
This was a very sweet episode.
Mm-hmm.
So was last week's, actually. They're in their more emotional... They're in their emotional run of episodes. We start out, Alex has decided to go to Caltech.
Yeah, like she just nonchalantly mentioned it.
She probably had a big announcement amongst her family that just wasn't big enough of a deal for us to see on the show.
Yeah.
And she's going to go to Caltech, and she's looking for a roommate on a website that you can find your roommate. Has anyone done that? I remember I was an intern at in the Disney College program in like 2000 when I was and literally the semester after, and I had some problems with roommates, partially because I had 5 other roommates.
Oh.
It was like a 3-bedroom, 2-door room. Like it was just, you're 19. That's what they do. They pile you in. And I remember the semester after that, they had bought one of those services where you can go on and meet. Like everyone can make a profile, and you can look at profiles, and you can all kind of agree who your roommate will be. And I was like, oh, that would
It's a good idea.
It's a really good
For
idea.
those of us that don't have roomies.
Yeah.
Built-in roommate right here.
I'm sure that's a fairly rare... it's a fairly rare arrangement. It's like, no, we're good.
True.
2-bedroom? I got it. Anyway, but Alex it's senior ditch day, and what she wants to do is sit in the peace and quiet of her school, being the only senior that shows up to senior ditch day. Which, by the way, I don't remember a senior ditch day.
We didn't have one.
I remember a ditch month. I remember the day the grades went in. And then if you just had something you wanted to do in school that day, you'd show up and do that, and then you'd leave.
Really?
I think I had perfect attendance my senior year.
I also had perfect attendance. I also had perfect attendance my senior year, but all that meant was I had to show up. And I think I was on work release, so I'd leave. Whether I went home to take a nap or I actually went to the job I actually had, I would just sign out and just be like, peace, guys.
Nice.
I'm out of here.
That's really nice. Alex would never do that.
Alex is not the type.
But I also thought it was very unrealistic that she didn't want to participate in ditch day. I mean, even if she loves school, who doesn't want to have a ditch day?
Well, to be fair, she wasn't going to go to class.
Oh, she wasn't?
She said she was going to sit in the library.
Oh, I didn't catch that part.
But couldn't she sit in the peace and quiet of her own home and do that? Like, if Phil and Claire were normal, they would be at work and...
Well, but Phil's job isn't
Yeah.
Phil's job isn't like I don't think he has an actual office. He seems
That's
to.
true.
He's a realtor, so he seems to work like he's likely to be home
Yeah,
on
but
a
she has
on
a
a
balloon
weekday.
fund. We found that out this episode. I thought that was fun.
A what?
A balloon fund.
Yes.
Wait, I missed this too.
He
It
has a
was a
balloon
funny
fund.
joke. He said, like, I have this and my picture's on the side of buses. I have a balloon fund.
It's a throwaway line where he was talking
Yeah.
about I'm a reputable member of society.
Yeah.
And my picture's on the side of buses. I have a balloon fund. But this is the only thing I've ever built. The thing
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
built is the Rialto,
Oh, that was a good transition.
which thank you. Wait, I can start taking some of the
Yeah.
dimes out of the transition jar. Rialto, which is something he built before he got into being a real estate agent. He actually built a movie theater in
Which is awesome.
I didn't Google it. It must be Orange County. That the whole show seems to be living in that world of Orange County. That
Like
it's a
where
lot
they film.
where they film and then where everyone in that world sends to live. Like it feels very.
Well, I think
Orange
it's supposed to
County.
be in LA, right?
Yeah.
But like similar to how like Arrested Development's in LA too. That it's in like. I don't want to. I don't
like
want to
the-
create dead air while I look it up.
Like
No,
the,
yeah.
But I'm pretty sure.
Like the neighborhood look, you mean, kind of
Yeah,
thing?
the neighborhood look and the
Okay.
feeling, and that's my guess of where the Rialto is. Is that it's in Orange County, and he went there, and Senior Ditch Day, he lies to them and tells them Luke is hurt and they need to go to the hospital. Which
I don't know why they bought that.
I don't know why your first instinct would be to run to the hospital with your. Like your brother's going through the worst thing ever. It's probably the worst thing. You could see the worst thing in his life. You should totally join me
Yeah.
in the car while he goes and handles it.
Yeah, plus he should be in an ambulance at that point, not in your dad's
Or like,
car.
but it's like, no, well, you drive him, Dad, and then call me when it's okay to go see him.
Yeah.
I'll be worried about him. I'll be very upset, but people aren't as pragmatic about it.
They are such a close family, though.
Yeah,
I think it was just like their dad said to go because Luke was injured,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
just went.
that's
Didn't
fair.
really think about it.
I usually don't think about it.
Yeah.
Had they thought about it,
That's true.
they would not.
have gone.
They would not have gone, but they went and they were going to go to California Adventure, not Disneyland. They're right there. They're right
True.
next to each other.
And it's on ABC, which is owned by Disney. You'd think they'd do that little plug.
Well, it's like the same
they've
thing.
gone to Disneyland in this show.
Oh, it's true.
So it's happened. I actually wrote a spec script where they all went to Disney World, and then that was the joke. That they were all going down to Disney World where they live in Southern
Close
California.
to Disneyland.
But what winds up happening, they drop by the Rialto, and so Luke was a baby? Luke was a baby, and he didn't get his footprints in the cement. It was just his face.
Which is
Yeah.
funny, but I didn't really understand. So Phil was saying it was Haley and Alex's first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like Haley was kind of old at that point to see her first movie.
I'd say like
2 years? They're 2 years apart, right? 2 or 3, no more than 3 years apart.
well, Haley and whoa, what's his name?
Luke.
Luke are 5 years apart, I think, because isn't he 16 and she's 21?
That seems right.
So if he was a baby, she would have been like 5 or 6, which is a good age to see her first movie, I feel like.
Yeah, I guess It didn't, the most thing that didn't make sense was why all three of them were at the movie theater watching a movie.
I mean, nothing really makes
I
sense.
think he said it was one of their first movies.
Oh, okay.
It's rare. The math can't possibly work for it to be all of their first movies.
Because when I heard that, I was like, that doesn't really make any sense. But
Yeah.
it was like the sentiment, I think that.
Yeah, it was the sentiment of it was your first time at this movie theater with your whole family.
So close.
So close. There was a fly that I almost ninja'd. That's what the reaction was to those of you listening. I like this whole thing that they're going to try to pull the cement out of the ground because Phil thinks like this is if I don't have that then I have nothing to show for the things I've actually built.
Yeah.
Because he just sells things other people buys.
Which I mean, they were all questioning it, like, why do we need to take this? And I would have been like, yeah, that's so cool, Dad. Like, let's take
Yeah,
this.
Dad, let's do that.
Because it
Yeah.
is so cool. Like, it's all
Yeah.
their footprints, and he wrote the date in it, and it's just going to get demolished. Why wouldn't you take it?
But also, why did he never show them until this point?
Yeah, you know.
That was kind of funny. But I would have tried to take it too. I think that was a great move on Phil. Really sentimental and great dad.
I think that Phil and Claire both had, like, a personal breakthrough. Like, Phil was like, I just saw things. This is something I've actually done physically, and it means a lot to me. And then Claire with her whole, like, job offer and everything, which I know we'll get to later. But it was like they both, like, discovered things about themselves.
Yeah. And Phil ultimately realized that the things you build, the most successful things you build typically aren't movie theaters that eventually will fall down.
Like his
whether it's in
children.
his lifetime or not, where it's like, well, my children and their relationship and how
Yeah.
good they are to each other. Like, that's something greater than anything I could have possibly built.
Yeah.
That's what Phil
and I don't
learned.
think he realizes how good of a dad he is.
I think he does.
Really?
Well, no one knows how good of a, like,
I
the people who
guess.
are really great at something don't ever know. But, like, I'm pretty sure Phil's aware he's a rather exceptional dad.
I guess, probably. He's pretty confident.
But he's confident and competent. Mm-hmm. He is. So Lily has no empathy.
She's
Which we
such a
knew.
brat. I'm so glad
This
Nick's
is
not here
why-
to argue with us.
I know,
because
this is why we're not huge fans of her.
No.
There is no exception for her behavior. No.
When she called her dad a girl, right?
Yeah.
She said he was, like, crying like a girl.
Mm-hmm.
When she said that she couldn't sleep because their
Humidifier.
humidifier was on. Like, what? I just think she's so disrespectful. It's mind-boggling. Like, I have never seen a child act that way to their parents.
I have seen childs. I've seen, like, at restaurants or places.
But you're
where
not,
it's
like, okay with it, right?
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a level of snark that's for a TV show.
Yeah, for sure.
But
But
then
if she was a real child, like, that's so unacceptable, right?
that's pretty unacceptable.
Yeah.
When she called him a girl, I think that was just, whoa. Not okay, Lily.
And then I just felt like they were trying to blame whose fault is it? Cam because he cries too much, or Mitch because he doesn't cry at all? Like, trying to blame one or the other. Hello, wake up call. Your daughter is just bratty. Like, teach her how to be respectful to them and other people, and, like, punish her if she doesn't understand. Or,
Yes.
like, listen, I guess.
Listen and have empathy for people.
Yeah.
Because what we ultimately learned here is that she only has empathy for her parents, and that
so
she's
not-
actually really and she's actually just really smart to talk her way out of she can logic her way out of most things.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. So that is a good quality.
Yeah.
And like
that's,
Cam said, she's not a liar, which I guess if you had to be something, you don't want your child to be a liar. So to be a liar or to not be a liar is better than to not be empathetic.
Yes, and
But why can't she be both?
I think she is empathetic. It's just her tolerance is way higher than most. I understand that feeling. Like, I think it's necessary to understand how people feel, but it shouldn't get in the way of yourself. Like, a lot of people are too worried about how people are feeling and how they feel about them, and
I
all the-
agree.
where it's like a very Dr. Philism, which I grew up with a mother who watched a lot of Dr. Phil on Oprah, and it was, people don't think about you as much as you think they think about you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Is the
for sure.
paraphrasing. So a little lack of empathy in our world might be a good lesson to have.
I agree. And I
Crying
think
too
that,
much is bad.
She is rude, though.
Yeah, like she's just...
She's
I-
rude.
like,
She should be called out on being rude.
yeah, they like just let her say things to them.
But it's like
and
you're right, she only has empathy for her parents, but she's also really only that rude to her parents. Like, you never really see her being that rude to, like,
Her family. Rude to her family.
yeah, so it's funny. But the logic was pretty smart when she said, like, well, why would I be sad? You always get better like, when you're sick. Which is true.
But Lily is so smart that she knows about death and all that stuff.
Yeah, that she's like, you
She's, like,
look
beyond her
cold,
years.
get over it.
Yeah.
Kind of an idea. Like, whereas, like, you have cancer. Oh my God, my parents, I'm gonna lose my parents. I don't want to lose my
Yeah.
parents. Like, I'm sure that's her thought process.
Yeah.
That was nice. We got a little more Lily this episode.
I mean, I always like to
Yeah.
see Cam and Mitch parenting.
Yes.
Because
Yeah, they're funny.
I feel like they're still trying to figure it out because they're so different from each other.
And she's like 7.
Yeah. And
She's
that's
like
just-
7, but she's being written lines by the funniest 35-year-olds ever.
Yeah.
Like, she's just super witty. Have you guys had your wisdom teeth out?
No.
No, I need them though.
Me too.
Oh.
I can feel it.
Yes, I have. When I was 22, which was in 2000, That was just as the Affordable Care Act had gotten passed. But before that, I was going to get dropped from my parents' insurance, and my mouth is so tiny that I needed both wisdom teeth out because I only had 2. For no other reason than my mouth is so tiny, I couldn't get the brush them, and I get cavities all the time. So I waited till the very last day until I got dropped from my insurance to schedule the surgery, and then the Affordable Care Act extended surgery. But I was also unemployed for the week after the surgery, so I kind of milked it for everything it was worth.
Yeah.
And just laid around and watched Netflix on
That
Vicodin.
sounds awesome.
Like, did you recover
was-
fast?
Sure. I feel like I would have... I feel like if I had somewhere to be in 2 days, I would have been there. But I didn't. So I wasn't.
Yeah, great.
And I was like, I'm just
Grateful.
going to be on Vicodin and watch Netflix for about a week. Is that cool?
Sounds pretty great.
Did someone
Over-
give you ice cream? Ice cream is the thing you're supposed to eat. Is that your tonsils?
That's your tonsils.
What do you eat when you get your wisdom teeth out?
Vicodin.
No food, just Vicodin.
Well,
eat
no, you
pizza?
eventually... not for a while.
Really?
And they-
Then I'm never getting them out.
And they had me worried to death about dry socket
Yeah.
that I just didn't talk for like 3 days.
I'm just worried to death about the pain.
Oh, the pain. They had good drugs for that.
Yeah, I just don't like taking
Oh,
it,
Manny
so-
had a milkshake. So
Yeah, no,
you're supposed to drink things through straws.
Yeah, you have
right?
to drink. You have to drink
Or,
things
like,
through.
eat whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be on a pretty liquid diet for about 3 days.
Juice.
Juice, milkshakes. If you can blend up, other types of food that you would normally eat, within reason.
I bet you lose a lot of weight.
Eh.
If you did it for a week, can you blend pizza?
Well, no. By day four, I could eat 3 meals a day,
Oh, okay.
and then I just wasn't doing anything. I was in a weird place in my life.
We talked
Back
so
in-
much about wisdom teeth. Well, I'm curious. We've never gotten ours taken out.
I know,
They
how
didn't.
it
They didn't
works.
explain it in the show. They just showed Manny post surgery. That's not saying anything.
Well, but with the wisdom teeth surgery is interesting that it's one of those surgeries that if it's uncomplicated, like I had Vicodin, and my mom had Vicodin from when she got the surgery, and she'd only taken like 3 pills and then went back to work. She had somewhere to go, so that I just pretty much depleted her Vicodin, and I was done. I was like, okay, I'm good now.
Oh.
But if it's an uncomplicated surgery, you can get over it in way under a week, more like 3 or 4 days.
That's perfect. That's awesome.
And Manny, it looks like it took him a day and a half.
He was planning on going to camp later that evening.
He was looks like
Not
he
that
was looped.
evening.
Well, no, there was a 5 o'clock deadline to submit to go to drama camp,
Okay.
which Kylie. This is the first time we've met Kylie.
I know, she came
they
out of
always
nowhere.
throw people in and expect you to just grasp.
Alex is going to Caltech with this roommate,
Yeah. I know, what's her name? It's...
and Manny is
Elena.
dating Kylie, and Kylie is essentially his mother.
I don't know if I like Kylie. Do you guys like Kylie?
I like Kylie.
Really?
I thought she was a little annoying.
I think she was a little annoying.
First off, we got one scene with Kylie. Can we just?
Well, you said you liked her, so
Can we just?
we're also
Just on that
Lily
one.
haters, so.
Lily haters, Kylie haters. Indifferent to Phil. What are we doing?
We love Phil.
Love Phil.
Phil's my favorite character.
Yeah, he's my fave too. But-
I like Kylie. But I think there's that deeper thing of a mother can ruin a girl for a son by explaining how much explaining how much that girl is like their mother.
Yeah, but he eventually would have figured it out on his own.
Yeah, and like it takes a lot of emotional stability to be able to say I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That
I mean, if he really liked her,
he was
he
dating
would
someone
be-
like his mom.
I'm
you
dating
mean?
someone like my mom. My mom's awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, if he really liked her and they were together for a long time, he would be like, "Yeah, whatever, that's cool."
Yeah, but in
But in the
that
initial-
brief moment of like these are all the things she is that I am. Good luck.
It's pretty shocking.
But
No,
no
that's
two
not
people are
shocking
that
at all.
much alike.
No, I mean like shocking for Manny.
No, that Manny loves his mother.
No, but just that they had so many similarities that he never realized.
I've been there. I've been there where you don't realize until it's been like 3 weeks. It's like, wow, that's why I like her.
Huh. Okay.
She's my mother. Like,
yeah.
That's like Freudian, right? Doesn't
little
Freud
bit.
say something like that?
I'm just gonna say yes. We're gonna move on.
Okay.
Freud says something in that ballpark. Most psychologists don't agree with it anymore. But yes. Also, the human experience is so deep that you can find similarities between anyone.
Yeah.
Always.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's like she's like my mom. It's like you could take most women and find those are just qualities that are constant among most people.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just gonna say one thing about Manny and Kylie's situation. I appreciate, like Gloria said, that she puts him, like, kind of keeps him on track, like a little bit controlling, because I think he needs that. But everything else about her can probably go, because I think she needs to be a little sweeter. Like, I've always pictured Manny with a really sweet girl, and she doesn't seem to be sweet at all.
No, I picture Manny with somebody who's going to challenge him.
Really?
Yeah, because he seems a little...
He's so, like, sentimental and emotional, though.
But he's sentimental and emotional, so he needs somebody who'll go, oh, come on, Manny, let's move it on.
True.
Like, that's who he needs.
I kind of picture Manny alone.
Wow.
I know, that's kind of mean, but...
I picture Luke alone and completely okay with it.
I picture Luke alone, for sure.
But, like, not like some sad bachelor as much as just, like, some swinging, like, hey.
Yeah, because Phil seems
My
like
life's
he would
awesome.
be single, but he's not, right?
I see that the same as Luke. Like, Luke would just be like, I'm...
Until he meets his Claire.
Yeah. But before that, he's just going to be some guy.
Exactly.
Completely content with who he is.
Yeah, which is great.
I agree.
Doesn't need someone to make him. Speaking of Claire got offered a job at a hotel that was also a client for the cabinet place that she works at with her father. She declines it because she thinks she accepts it, or no, she declined.
First, she declined.
She did all those things.
Yeah.
She declined it, then accepted it, declined it, and accepted it.
You can continue. Sorry.
No, that's about right.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I thought this was kind of like a ridiculous scenario, because if she was offered a great job like that, I get that she didn't want to hurt her dad's feelings, but I feel like it would be a no-brainer. I think that she kind of hit a point in her life where she was even ready for, like, a change.
Yeah.
And the fact that she would turn it down just because like, her dad would feel bad for, like, a week, maybe up to a month until he got used to it, and he would still be happy for her regardless, and she knows that. So it just made me sad that she would, like, turn down an opportunity like that because of how she was, like, worried about his feelings.
That's
like,
kind of how I
too
feel,
much
too.
empathy.
Also, I feel like that Jay is so business
Yeah.
that the second he saw that offer, he was like, there's no reason to not take this offer.
Yeah.
Like, whether you're my daughter, a valued employee, or just someone I don't know, I'm looking at this versus what you make. There's no reason for you to not do this. Because you're not, like he said, like, yeah, you'll spend some time away from Phil, there'll be a little more travel. But it's commensurate with this job.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, for what you do and what you can do, this job's a slam dunk for you, and there's no reason to not take it. And I kind of like that idea that it is like, of course I would love for you to stay here. I love you that much that it went without saying. But business is business. You should take this job.
Yeah, I think that's a good way. He looked at it in the best way possible.
But I really think she knows him so well, like, she knows that he would say that. So that's why I just don't really understand why she turned it down in the first place and then flip-flop so much.
Well, that's always right. I've been through roller coasters like that where you flip-flop on a decision. I do my best to just put the decision off for 3 days.
Oh, I'm not like that.
Because I'll just flip-flop through. Where I'll just set, like, a long deadline. Like, can I not give you an answer till, like, Friday? Okay, you'll have it.
Then by that time you really know.
Yeah, you'll have an answer from me on Friday.
For me personally, I just have to decide right away.
So if I see my dad crying at a picture of my face, and I want to, I can't take this job, and then I realize he was just using it as a mirror to clip his nose hairs. Well, now I want to take this job again, and then he breaks down and tells me he wants me to stay. I don't have to flip-flop with this guy.
It also shouldn't be that easy to flip-flop. Like, I feel like you generally lean towards one decision.
Yeah, and her first decision was
learned-
ultimately what she did, which was stay there.
Yeah, and you could tell she was leaning towards that the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And
just like on The Bachelor, you can always tell who they're gonna pick.
well, I mean, that's because The Bachelor is heavily edited to include
They do a
these
good
things.
job.
Do they do a good job?
Yeah, they do a really good editing job, I think.
Just like American Idol. Oh wait, it's over.
R.I.P.
Are you guys fans of American
No.
Idol?
No.
Okay.
Just
Keith
Ryan
Urban, though,
Seacrest.
fan of him.
Pretty sure if we're winding into talking about Keith Urban and American Idol, that we covered all our topics.
I think so.
Next week's season finale.
Yeah, it's gonna be sentimental again, I think.
Team Hail Andy.
Yeah!
Team Hail Andy. I just made that up. I don't know if Andy is on next week's episode. I'm just
Fingers crossed. crossed.
Fingers crossed that he is. In the meantime, if you want to tell us what you think will or won't be on next week's episode, you can find me at Steve Kaufmann. That's Kaufmann. Where can I find you guys?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Britta_Garsow.
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Carli_Carsow.
And we're live here next week over at AFTERBUZZ TV on YouTube or on the podcasting networks you listen to us. And then it'll be the season's finale, and you'll see us in September. So thanks for watching, guys. Good night.
Thank you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.